animal. Yes, 21st century, the physical body is fully perfected in humanity. But that is not who we are. We are not the physical body. We just talked about the kumaras lighting the mind. We are mind beings. So, yes, we have a physical body, but we have reasoning powers beyond what the scientific world acknowledges. Because HBB tells us in the Secret Doctrine, unless the play of the higher mind to the lower is understood, education system will not change. Why is that? Because the lower mind is purely dependent on the physical aspects of life. It's intellectual. Yes, it has a tremendous function because we wouldn't be able to get up and go about our daily business. But that is not who we are. We are the spiritual entity that the heart opens and enables this egoic soul to move forward. And this is missing in our science. Scientific writers preface their observations with the statement that we must look to science for our basic knowledge of man and nature. In effect, this means from the Theosophical viewpoint that we must deny the possibility of a metaphysical origin for man, regard him simply as a highly intelligent species of animal, rule out any larger sense of cosmic purpose for his career on this planet, and ignore all spiritual accounts of his nature and destiny before attempting to deal with the tremendous social difficulties and maladjustments in which the race at this time is involved. So this is a tremendous disservice the scientific world is doing. Now, all of them are not stuck on this view, but most of them are, and those who are even intuitively perceive that there is an underlying field operation. If you read the Thread of the Cosmos by Green, he feels that there is this underlying field that is a unifying force in the universe, the astral field operation he's talking about, or the astral light. But most of them, they will not come out and say so. They are kind of wedded to the old way of doing things. So she says, this dogma, because it has become a dogma, is a fundamental block to truth in the scientific world view. It prejudices every scientific worker, writer, and student against a philosophical study of man. Another misconception of science is the belief that there is a physical reality. We know that we are spiritual beings. We occupy a physical body on earth, but this is not real. This is the ephemeral part of the individuality, and it gives the feeling that it is real because it's solid. We can touch it, feel it, which is necessary for our development. But to say that this is all we are is tremendously limiting us. Methodological limitation has become a materialistic dogma, because if science cannot touch it, repeat the experiment, it's not real in their view, is it? So again, this tremendous limitation we Theosophists have to overcome. Then we go on to religion. The weakness of modern religious institutions has led to the widespread view that religion, or the subjects commonly identified with it, are unimportant, or merely sentiment of poetic nature, having little to do with the hard world of fact. The essential weakness of religion is to be traced to the personal God idea and its train of consequences in thought and human behavior. For one thing, the anthropomorphic God has successfully kept thousands of scientists in the rank of materialism. It has rendered the race obtuse to genuine moral philosophy and opened the way to the abuses of organized religion. So, morality and truth then is one. It's the two sides of the same coin. We're told that our age is immoral. Why? If we don't believe in karma and reincarnation, where is the responsibility in our leadership? Where is the accountability of what they're doing? This student printed this, the events of last year. I don't see anything on here that is in our best interest of any kind. It all it shows that we owe $14 trillion in debt. This is the world we are living, our the younger generation. This is not fancy. This is real stuff here. We're still in Iraq. Our senators are being convicted of corruption charges. The wealthy, he refused to give tax breaks to the wealthy, but the other opposition party demanded it and it went through. This is, where is the responsibility of our leaders to this nation whose forefathers were Freemasons and understood what the laws were when they put it in effect? Supreme Court now has ruled that corporations are individuals, opening the arena of political power to foreign corporations as well as internal. China owns us because they're holding the piece of paper, our debt, and in 19 years we are told we won't be able to pay the interest on the money we have borrowed. The government is going to be bankrupt, and we are talking about the ethics of the government in dealing with everyday life when it won't be able to deal with it at all, and it is not facing reality. And we are still in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the master's letter that this student read for this preparation says, any means except war ought to be tried in solving our social, economic, political, historical problems before we get into war. They must mean something by that. Any means. Except war. Yet Mr. Judge has an article saying that they were behind the Constitution of the American Republic. They saw a vista opening to the world in the West, and they supported that event. Let us see what the last bit was on this paper. I have really run up through my time, but I would like to pass this on. It goes on to say that the human family life is also disrupted. In the previous centuries, the tasks that were needed to be done in the family were done by children as chores. This then made them part of the whole. It taught them responsibility and acceptance of cooperative task doing. Today's world does not provide this opportunity to our children because the house is not the place where moral qualities, responsibility, and assuming task doing can be promulgated, because the home has become divided by time and travel. So it becomes the responsibility of the parents to pass this opportunity for the children to achieve in their own homes. It is stated that it is much more difficult. It goes on to say that the future of our nation is dependent on how we educate our children. Educational thought constitutes an arena in which all these tendencies meet with other more favorable currents. The single word controversy best characterizes the field of education of the 21st century, because the specialists want to make everything separate. Every subject is taught separately in the schools. The conceits of the specialists meet in head-on collision with the sentiments of the liberals, while most attempts at synthesis of the two viewpoints lose the vigor of both. This divides the system as to how it is going to be addressed. The truth modern educators have to offer are either partial or partisan, and whole viewpoints suffer the emptiness of excessive generality. Liberal learning might become the body of organic wisdom in the modern world, but not without the heartbeat of essential truth. Karma and reincarnation are needed to give the pulse of life to the cultural tradition of the West. These two ideas touch the principles in man's nature which need to be aroused before he can make use of his great heritage, whether of science, religion, philosophy, or literature. The evolutionary cycle has reached that point in its progression when new responsibilities have to be assumed by the human race. It is a time of transition from the psychic to the monastic basis of action. Without karma and reincarnation, a monastic basis for action cannot exist. We must make this transition successfully, or the race will fall back into retrograde psychism and karma monastic materialism. The choice is crucial for the present as for the future. So the 21st century has to move in this direction, in the monastic direction, by promulgating the doctrine of karma and reincarnation, because we cannot be monastic. Monastic means mind consciousness. We are self-conscious. We have different levels of consciousness that enable us to establish continuity from life to life. Without becoming monastic, we cannot achieve any one of these possibilities, which is the birthright of each human being. So this student has copied a piece of information, which I'm not able to find. Oh, here it is. This is from Key to Theosophy for those of you who are parents or educators, and I will complete it with just reading it, and I'll pass this along. If we had money, this is a theosophical point, we would find schools which would turn out something else than reading and writing candidates for starvation. Children should above all be taught self-reliance, love for all men, altruism, mutual charity, and more than anything else to think and reason for themselves. We would reduce the purely mechanical work of the memory to an absolute minimum and devote the time to the development and training of the inner senses, faculties, and latent capacities. We would endeavor to deal with each child as a unit and to educate it so as to produce the most harmonious and equal unfoldment of its powers, in order that its special aptitudes should find their full natural development. We should aim at creating free men and women, free intellectually, free morally, unprejudiced in all respects, and above all things, unselfish. And we believe that much, if not all of this, could be obtained by proper and truly theosophical education. So it becomes imperative that those of us who understand the risks involved for